Coming up, we have a lot to talk about for a tiny, tiny man. This is the Sacred Rewatch. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sacred Rewatch, brought to you by Effortless Expeditions, a Disney-centered travel agency here to help you plan your next Disney vacation. Contact us today for a free, no-obligation quote wherever the destination is. They make the experience truly effortless. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this content or give a 5-star rating on what podcast platform you're listening to right now. I don't have the exact number in front of me, guys, but we're doing just phenomenal numbers right now on YouTube. By the time this comes out, the Fantastic Four live stream has been up for probably 2 weeks now. But if you haven't, go check out Fantastic Four. Fabulous movie. One would say it's pretty fantastic. And if you have seen the movie, go check out our video. It's a little unhinged. It's very unscripted. There's no edits in it, so go check it out. But today, I am joined by Wyatt. Welcome back.
What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing today?
I am doing great. And today we are also joined, once again, a weekly favorite, our resident philosopher, Brody.
Hello, everyone.
How are you guys doing?
I'm also pretty tired, but pretty good still at the same time.
Yeah. Brody?
Doing good. Just finished the movie.
Awesome. Well, it's a lighter week. I feel like it's much deserved for us all. So we're just talking about Ant-Man. I didn't tell you guys before we got on, but I brought it from Pim's Test Kitchen itself.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
We've got a Diet Coke in here. This is family friendly, just a Diet Coke.
I almost used my Pim's Test Kitchen cup today as well, but I thought otherwise.
But man, what a fun movie. That's all I want to say before we reveal our scores. But I don't think we're doing a grand reveal. Let's take a guess. Brody, I'm gonna assume your score is higher than mine. Is that a fair assumption?
I don't know on this one.
Okay.
I feel like Ethan criminally underrates this movie. I can just tell.
I feel like I do. I feel like
Maybe we all do.
It's a good movie, but Brody, I'm a little worried about your score. Give us your go.
Do I show it on a piece of paper or what?
Whatever you want to do. Say it. If you show
Let
it,
me
make
jot
sure
it
you
down
tell us,
real quick.
tell the listeners.
Probably won't even be able to see it. I got a 17.
Wyatt, you have some thoughts. Same out.
No, my thoughts were I was also going to give it a 17.
Oh, okay.
Well, guys, I don't think we're far off from each other. I gave it a 16, so we're kind of on the same level. Wyatt, I want one sentence. About
Ants. Heist. Ants heist.
Yeah.
Brody, I want one sentence from you as well.
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
They do always find out.
That's what I'm
And
doing.
what a criminal menu they have. They don't allow burgers or anything hot. Isn't that
Right.
criminal?
Right?
But
That's such a good scene.
some of the early notes I wrote, it was cool to see Peggy and Howard. We haven't seen them in a while, obviously, because they could be dead. You know, this is a throwback, so you never know.
Right?
And I have to say, the intro made me feel real groovy. I don't know if you guys caught it, but it was kind of like the almost samba music. The Marvel
Right.
intro. It was feeling very
Oh, yeah.
groovy. It caught
The
me at a good-
beginning threw me off because it wasn't the Marvel intro first. I straight up skipped back into the movie because I was like,
I'm
what
not the only
happened
one
there?
that's
You know what I mean?
that's listening.
No,
to that,
that's
right?
that happened to you too, Ethan?
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, damn, really, this is happening to me? All right, we lost Brody. I think we may have lost Brody to the quantum realm. But before we talk about more of the quantum realm, I also wanted to put it out there. It's kind of cool that we got T.I., you know?
Yeah.
Didn't know he was in acting all that much.
I mean, I don't think he's in it all that much. I think he does it.
What
The
do
Weeknd.
you-
The Weeknd has his movies.
I can't believe Brody hasn't come back. But what else did you think about the beginning of the movie?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I wish he had more of a role. I think the whole group they have, that little like heist friends, they add so much to the movie. Oh, he's gone now. He's gone.
It's okay. But
I like that they get a bigger role in the second one. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
T.I. in
we
the
can
second one?
Huh?
Is T.I. in the second one?
I don't know. We'll have to talk
We'll
about it when it
find that
gets
out.
there. But
oh my goodness.
you know, I think this is just a real solid movie. You know, kind of similar to the Fantastic Four without spoiling the Fantastic
He's
Four.
back.
But this is just a great standalone story. You don't need to know much going into it. Actually, you don't really need to know anything other than. Actually, no, you don't, because Howard and Peggy to you may just seem like randos, but it's a nice little Easter egg, you know.
Yep.
I think the cool part about this movie is where it came out in the terms of the MCU wise. This was their first movie after Age of Ultron, which seems to me like kind of a bold decision, to not follow up on one of our Avengers right after that movie. And I also think it's not so much a lesser known character because to like your Marvel heads, Ant-Man and Hank Pym have always been like a founding member of the Avengers.
Yeah.
But I remember like as a kid going to see this with my mom and dad, like my mom and dad had no idea who Ant-Man was. And
Yeah.
I think the use of Hank Pym as like the older, more experienced Ant-Man teaching Scott Lang adds a certain level of charm to the movie that makes it it makes it very good.
And I
It's
think
not so much an origin story; it's like a training story.
making him coworkers with Howard Stark gives you just a really quick backstory on who he is, like the type of person he is, and just the lines that Howard says about we can trust him and stuff.
I mean, I think you're right, Wyatt. On one end, like, yeah, nobody knows who he is, but he is. If you go back to the comics, Ant-Man is such a crucial part. I mean, he's a part of the. Oh man, once I have my Marvel wall behind me, you're gonna see I have a wonderful comic. It's I think the first Avengers comic.
Well,
And it's signed by Stan Lee, but Ant-Man is in the original Avengers.
if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, it's him and Tony who make Ultron in the comics, not Bruce and Tony.
Well, I think it's actually Hank Pym and Steve Rogers. I think Hank Pym's supposed to be a lot younger. It's supposed to be. It's not really Scott Lang Ant-Man, the one that's kind of.
I don't really know much about Scott Lang in the comics period. I've only ever heard of Hank Pym in terms of the comics, the TV shows, everything before this Ant-Man movie and the MCU. I didn't even know Scott Lang was like a person.
And now that I think about it, like I'm not a comic book fan by any stretch of imagination, but even now, where I've done my due diligence, I've watched I've read Savage Land comic from the X-Men. I've done some deep dives here and there, but I still have never really heard of.
Ethan's a big
Scott
fan
Lang,
of Savage Land Run.
We'll have to talk about that when we do our X-Men bout. But it's kind of weird because I feel like I've seen a ton of different variations of all these characters, and now that I think about it, not once does Scott Lang really come to mind.
Is he in the comics? I know we're the Marvel podcast. We're supposed to know, but is he has to be? There's no way the MCU made him up.
Let's look.
But while you look that up, when it comes to the character of Scott Lang, I feel like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, it falls in line with one of those somewhat perfect MCU castings. Like, I couldn't picture anyone else playing the role of Ant-Man the same way I couldn't picture anyone else playing Tony Stark or anyone else playing Steve Rogers. I just think he fits so well with what the character is that he brings that fun type of like Paul Rudd charm to the movie, which I think does a great job. Like that scene at the beginning where one of like my favorite, not my favorite part of the movie. I like the part of the beginning with him and I can't remember his name, but his daughter's new stepdad or his ex-wife's new boyfriend. Neither of them. There isn't so much this beef between the two of them. Like they do want what's best for Cassie, and I think just the way there's Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. That second he walks into that scene in the birthday party, there's just so much charisma between him and his daughter, and then I can't remember his name, the stepdad. That I think makes.
Honestly, it's like Dave or something.
It's something basic. It's a basic white guy name.
Right.
He's a cop too.
He is a
That
cop,
is
which I
true.
think is a funny dynamic for the movie to have: a cop, stepdad, and then a convict father.
Right.
Yeah, and it's also not though like the typical cop trope where he's like kind of a hard ass. I still kind of like got the feeling the whole time that he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, I did so. I like that he's not. I'm so tired of movies always having the mean stepdad who's like mean to the kid, or the wife's just married to him because he has money or whatever. I like that he's a good guy. And from the beginning of the movie, you know he's a good guy, and he's only ever just doing his job.
Yeah.
What else? I took a good amount of notes for this. I already spoke about it, but this is just a true standalone story. I think I feel like now, like this is a weird time for us to review it because we haven't had a ton of movies in the last couple weeks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, Wyatt, you said it. I want to read what you texted me because I think it's very important to kind of think about. But you
Affects you a lot of
said,
things. Kind of worried we're trying to read right here.
no. You said, oh, watching Ant-Man was refreshing. That was your quote.
Mm-hmm.
I think this, I don't think you could have said it any better. I think we've obviously seen standalone stories, you know, the Defenders series, you haven't really need to know anything else. But they're also long TV shows. But the pacing was great, the storytelling was great. Luis, like I think that's a perfect way to tell a story with a lot of comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these Ant-Man movies that we're going to see, especially going forward, like there's so much. It is more of a comedy-based movie, but they do such a good job of balancing the comedy with threat and with justice and a lot of different like themes of the movie. Brody, I don't know if there's anything you want to say. I know you've been back for a second, but I think your Wi-Fi is finally working now.
It's working enough, hopefully. But this was a tough movie for me. Like I liked that it had a clear director style. Like it wasn't too far from basic MCU style, but like the editing and the stories and stuff had enough difference to make it feel like it was like a unique vision. But other than that, I don't know if it's because I already knew all the jokes, but for some reason the comedy was just like not hitting for me. Like I knew they were funny jokes, but for some reason it just wasn't working for me. But I think that might just be because I know like the jokes
No,
in the
I
movie.
will agree with you on that, especially on the rewatch perspective. Like, I feel like previous times I've seen this movie, I laughed a lot more than I did. Like to
Yeah.
me, a lot of this was like, it was like internal humor. Like I chuckled on the
Yeah.
inside, you know, but I didn't
You're still
express it a lot.
deadpan watching it, but laughing on the inside.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the humor in this movie is deadpan. Like Michael
Yeah.
Douglas is like this old dude that's like retired, you know what I mean? And he's got
Mhm.
this not good relationship with his daughter. So like most of them are just giving like side comments at each other. You know what I mean? Like they're not directly just telling like jokes. Like they're just like funny little moments. You know what I mean?
I think this
I don't
cast
know.
does work very well together. Like when
Completely agree.
everyone's in a scene with everyone, it all flows so well and feels so natural. I think when it's just Hope, Hank, and Scott in the house training, those scenes have so much charisma and like I don't know if energy is the right word, but there's so much energy behind all three of them. It works great. When it's just Scott talking to his friends and like his heist friends, it's great. Even then when it's Hank interacting with Cross, there's so much tension in every single scene that you can really tell the background between the two of them with the little deposition we get, which I think works great for the movie. We don't get a whole background of why they hate each other. We don't see it. We just get a couple lines like, oh yeah, he used to work for me and I didn't trust him enough to give him this, so now he's resentful of me.
Yeah, and I thought Yellow Jacket kind of took me by surprise as an actor. I don't remember him being as good of a like villain like throughout the beginning and stuff. But I thought his line
Yeah,
delivery and stuff was really good. He would have been a great Lex Luthor.
he would have been. There is not a single redeeming quality about him whatsoever. He is a bad guy from the start,
Right.
bad guy to the very end. For the first like two scenes, he shoots who I think is Matthew Perry with a shrinking goo gun, and then scoops
It's
him up
not
in the
Matthew
bathroom.
Perry, is it?
No, but he looks a lot like him.
Okay, I
It looks like him.
was gonna say, I did not catch that. But like, even in that first scene, he's like, "Here's this suit, and it gives you superpowers." And then the dude's like, "So it's a suit?" And it's like, "That's kind of what you were describing." And he gets all like upset about it. But I love the fact that he just like slimes that dude in the bat. Like he just
Oh yeah,
shoots him, and
He
it's
just-
like. Well, I was like, wouldn't cameras see that two people went? And I was like, well, I mean, he pretty like owns the company. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna catch
like
him?
He was questioning it. He wasn't even gonna like do anything about it. He was just like, "Hey, I don't really know if this is okay."
Well, he wasn't
Boom.
even saying
Nope,
it was
you're
him.
gone.
He was like, oh,
Yeah.
other people are gonna try to stop this. So that's why, like, when he killed him, I was like, this doesn't really solve anything. I mean, there's still gonna be the other people, but I don't know. I guess it was just kind of the whole point of the scene to show that he's easily irritated and will
there's that
kill
scene
people.
where he brings in like the lamb for the live tests and it dies. And like, we'll clean it up and try again. Like, my dude, you're not even gonna try to change it. Like, you're just gonna, it's not
Right.
gonna work.
Well, I did love the slime thing. Like people turning into like slime
I don't
goo.
know.
Like
Yeah,
that felt like a 80s movie. That felt like an old movie and it was really I don't know what it reminds me of, but it just reminds me of like those older movies.
and I think it's cool that they still shrink. Like they'll still shrink like
Yeah.
ants, but now they're just this dead goop.
Yeah. But I don't you have to remember this movie was like in its process of being made for a long time. You know what I mean? This
Oh,
was
was it?
almost that whole
I didn't know that.
there was that whole thing that Edgar Wright was gonna do it.
Uh-huh.
There was Edgar Wright's
He,
Ant-Man.
he had already started on a script, didn't he?
I believe so. And then I don't know what happened with the project, if it was just taking too long or if they just didn't
Brody
want
or
to.
Wyatt? I've never seen an Edgar Wright project. Can you guys refresh me on his tone if you guys have ever seen a movie?
Let me
I have
just
to look
double
up.
check real
I know the
quick, just so
name,
I
but
don't
I was
say the
gonna say,
wrong thing.
I was gonna say, where do I recognize Luis Despacito from?
So,
Is he done
Edgar
other
Wright-
MCU projects?
Yes, he's the producer on, like,
producer
everything.
on all of them.
Okay.
But yeah, Edgar Wright did Shaun of the Dead, which is another comedy, so it would have totally been in the style of this movie.
That movie's
Uh,
good.
Baby Driver. I've seen
Oh,
Last
that's
Night in
also a good
Soho,
movie.
Scott Pilgrim. Those are all Edgar
I
Wright.
don't like South Florida. People love it.
So I don't know. He was a very comedy director. And probably a lot of this script and ideas, probably not his style as much, but I feel like a lot of the ideas were probably the same. It's the same as Star Wars movie ideas. Even if you don't finish the project, they pretty much own all the ideas you gave them because it's their property, and they can kind of just give it to the next person. So there's probably remnants of what that was, but I don't know. I just know a lot of people talk about what if Edgar Wright actually made his Ant-Man, and would that have been a better movie?
Yeah. Well, let's keep talking about the movie a little bit. What did you guys think about the introduction of Scott Lang to Hank Pym? Did you feel like it felt forced? Did you feel like it felt natural?
I wish there was a little more explanation on why he picked Scott Lang. Like, if it's because he's just the only guy he could find at the time he needed, I'm cool with that. Say that and give a little more distrusting of him. But it seems like he just kind of saw that ad, or not the ad. He saw in the newspaper that he robbed some rich guy and drove his car into a pool, and then that was what made him want to recruit him to be the next Ant-Man because he's
But
good
it
at
was,
heists. Like, I don't.
Wasn't it a technology dude though? And didn't he like give the money back to people? So I thought the point of that was to show
Yeah.
that he knew like Scott Lang was like a good person
Oh, that's
and was
true.
willing to do like something that's sketchy,
Mhm.
but will still
I
like be
do-
doing the right thing.
He's
do
a good
like
thief,
that,
but we'll do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
because other than that, like Scott Lang is kind of like a random person. You know, he's a convict.
Yeah, he's
You know,
just a thief. Like, he's
there's
just some guy who
nothing-
got picked up on burglary charges.
There's nothing really special about him. You know,
So I think it was
He's
just
not-
because he gave the money back to the people.
he's not kind of like the Steve Rogers, like almost paradox, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if paradox is the right word.
I don't think it
Steve
was.
Rogers is like an overly nice person, you know? Like he does everything for the right reasons,
Right.
you know?
What's special about Steve Rogers didn't come from a bottle.
Exactly.
That's right.
So it is cool because this is I want to say this is the first like true movie or project in general we've had about a relatively normal guy, you know? Worked at Baskin
Sure.
Robbins.
This played the street level really well.
I wouldn't say I would become a convict or a felon, but you know, relatively normal guy.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool.
I
One of
thought
my
they
favorite
just
parts of this
kept
movie is
world
the
small.
setting, for sure. I
What about-
love the change of pace that it's not New York City. It's like San Francisco, which I feel like you very rarely see superhero movies take place in San Francisco. Or really
Or the
interact.
West Coast in general.
Yeah, or with the West Coast in general. It was just, I don't know. Obviously, being from the West Coast, it's a lot more familiar seeing San Francisco than New York City. But I liked it a lot. I thought it was very refreshing. I know they don't talk about it too much, but you can definitely tell like the house. I think it's cool seeing their house from the exterior because that's very much it's just in San Francisco and it's very recognizable.
Well, and something about the setting as well, taking it down on like a microscopic level, like everything that we see, right, is real life, but it's so visually jarring because everything's
Yeah.
so small, or I guess so big. You know, it's cool to like the one scene that really jumps to my mind is when Scott is writing Anthony,
Mhm.
and they're like going through the lab almost. They're like flying through. I'm like, this is like such a cool scene because if you would have done a wide pan, right, normal shot,
Yeah.
it's just a lab, But they're
Mhm.
going through and it's almost seeming like a Tron vibe where they're flying through all these computers and like hard drives that are all lit up. I don't know. There's just something very cool about that because it's such a normal scene, but they made a way to visually make it appealing.
I think the
Yeah.
shrinking stuff in this movie is amazing. And I know it's an Ant-Man movie, so it all hinges on, does it look cool when he's shrunken down? And I think all of the scenes where he's small are very, very well done. They look good enough for being all CGI ant guys shrunken down. Like they look fine. I would say they look
Mhm.
fantastic, but they definitely don't look bad. And I don't know, I think when he first gets his suit on and shrinks in the bathroom, great scene. When he's training with the ants underground, it's a great scene. And then all
Mhm.
the fights I love the parts where they'll be fighting with this insanely dramatic music and all this loud stuff. And then it does a zoom out to like what it looks like to normal people. And it's just these two little guys hitting each other. I think those are hilarious when they do that. I don't know if hilarious is the right word. It's funny. It's not hilarious, but I think it's really
Yeah.
cool when they do that kind of stuff.
Like
Well, and I
especially with
feel
the
like
Thomas the Train Engine stuff.
Yeah. Like it's cool to take you out of it and be like, hey, just a reminder, these guys are little tiny guys fighting.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, yeah, another one of my favorite examples of that was when the briefcase was
Mhm.
flying out of the helicopter, and they're like having this big grand fight, and then they zoom out and just lights going off in the briefcase.
Right.
It just
I
lands
That
in
was
the
a
pool.
perfect example of that.
The one shot that really, really caught me off guard was like early on in the movie when he's like the second time he's trying out the suit and they're like flying through and he hits the sewer grate, flies up in the air and stuff. I think it was during that scene, but he falls onto the carpet, like right before he gets
Mm.
picked up by the
Mm.
Oh
vacuum.
yeah,
And when he falls onto the carpet, there's like the focus, so only the middle of the frame, like all the carpet on the outside's all blurry. But the way that the dust comes up and just the way
yeah.
the carpet looked so real. It was actually insane. Like it's
Probably
crazy.
need to run a wet vac through that carpet. What else? What else? What else? Oh, the one thing I wanted to say is like we got to give credit where credit is due because I feel like a lot of times we want to only talk negatively about CGI, and especially when we look at future Ant-Man movies, let's see in the future, like
Mhm.
this CGI was done well. I wouldn't say
I
it's like
think
the greatest, but like it's
I think it's pretty
2015,
great.
still stands up really well. Like there's some shots that are completely CGI, and sometimes you can't even tell. So I just want to give credit where credit is due.
I think what maybe might be its saving grace, where as you compare it to like not so much Ant-Man 2, but Ant-Man 3,
Yeah.
there's plenty of shots that are not CGI. There's plenty of good moments in the movie that are characters interacting with each other, or the heist crew helping them break into Cross's lab. Like all of those scenes aren't CGI at all, and they still have just as much like excitement and charm as the rest of the movie. Whereas you go to Ant-Man 3 and every single shot in Ant-Man 3 is caked in CGI because of
Yeah.
the setting. It has to be. So I don't know if "get" is the right word because the movie's awful, but
Well, that's an opinion for a later
that's an
episode.
opinion for us. I'm not going to get into it. But I think a part that really helps this movie is all those great moments that have no CGI whatsoever.
Yeah, and it just helps it just feel so much more grounded because you're seeing it you're seeing his size in comparison to things that we know. And they find such creative ways to do it. It felt like a Pixar movie, like
Mhm.
him spinning around on the vinyl thing or at the club or whatever.
Yeah.
And just every scene like was just unique ways to deal with stuff.
Well, and I don't think I I really can't think about it or think of it. There's not a final like battle in the MCU, even moving forward, that I can think of that like makes me smile and laugh as much as this final fight. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Especially like Brody, what you're saying when the Thomas the Train gets super big, but even when they're just like messing around with the train set,
Mm-hmm.
um, when they're, I guess when the train's normal size, when they're small, um, I don't know. I can't really think of any other MCU fights that like I kind of most of the movie I was deadpan, right? But I kind of chuckled when some of that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
I think it's like it helps when a director of any movie, especially superhero movies, knows the tone and the seriousness of their character. Like, I don't care about Hank Pym in the comics or Ant-Man in the comics. The dude's name is Ant-Man. He shrinks to the size of an ant and rides flying ants everywhere. Like, you can't make that movie as dark as you make the Batman. Like, you need to you need to understand that you can't take yourself too seriously. And I think it's what makes this movie great. Like, they lean into the funniness of the fights. They lean into the fact that they're fighting on a children's playset. Like, it makes it 10 times better.
Yeah.
Well, and I think something that I've talked about already, but like, I think it's super interesting when we're watching this too, when we've seen a bunch of dark themed stuff already. You know, we've we've all we've been watching is super dark themes and the TV shows and even the movies, and to have something like this where like uplifts, you know, but there's also serious stakes in it.
I was really surprised when I remembered that this came out before Deadpool. I don't know why, but this movie, like, it seemed like it was kind of like... It seemed like it was after Deadpool for some reason for me. I didn't really see it as, like, Ant-Man kind of was setting up, like, the more humorous take on a superhero. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the vibes in this movie are very similar. You know what I mean? Like, you have the dude that's driving the main hero around. You have, like, the grounded story. Dude that's not the worst person, but not the best person. And for some reason, I was just surprised that this came out before and kind of beat Deadpool to that a little bit. Obviously, it's not as extreme, but I was getting very similar tone vibes to it.
Well, and especially too, like when you think about the theme, like it's a very heist-based theme, but it's also super upbeat.
Yeah.
And something about like those underlying things that change how you feel about a movie and about a hero. Just those little things like really amplify.
The heist theme, I think, is what makes the Ant-Man movies good. And I think it becomes not, I don't know, I think as you kind of watch the next two, the heist theme seems to get less and less, and the movies also seem to deteriorate more and more. Like, the second one is not nearly as good as the first one, and the third one is not as good as...
Don't say that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. I think what you can't deny that the heist theme definitely does diminish throughout the second and third one. And I think that's what makes these characters so... Not these characters. I think what makes movies so interesting. It's not common to see a comedy-driven superhero heist movie.
But based off watching this movie, the way I would presume at the time the direction this is going is towards the military problem and the SHIELD discussion that sets up the movie. If I were to not know what movies were coming next, I would think it would be about people wanting Ant-Man to be dealing with larger issues.
Yeah.
And not doing, you know, I mean, I feel like that would have been the main conflict going forward. Because obviously, like, you have the introduction to the Avenger stuff and the SHIELD stuff. You know what I mean? I just feel like that seems like a more natural place to go after watching this movie. Because I thought the flashbacks of the military stuff with Hank was really cool. Like, it really felt believable that, oh, this looks like something that would have been around. You know what I mean? Like, obviously after Captain America, but I got very strong first Avenger vibes of like these small SHIELD things that are going on at the time. They had a good reason for why we didn't know about it beforehand. And I feel like that really helped, it not being Hank as the main character. I feel like just the way it lined up and they made him part of SHIELD and having previously been a hero. But then also, he says he can't be in the suit anymore because it took a toll on him. And I don't know if that was because of the shrinking. They don't specify if it's because of the shrinking process or him just getting beat up a lot. But, like, if it is because of the shrinking stuff, like, how long does Scott Lang got until he just can't wear the suit anymore?
See, I took it a little bit differently. I took it as more of like a mental and emotional.
I took it as a mental toll as well.
There you go.
Like,
Gotcha.
wearing the suit led... Eventually, I know it's not direct correlation, but wearing the suit led to him losing his wife because of his own technology.
Yeah.
Which, you know, created...
I mean, and that's exactly why he didn't want Hope to take the suit, you know? So I
Which
think
is something that... I didn't remember that this whole time she had no idea that's how her mom died until the end of the movie. Like, I completely forgot that until we were watching it. I kind of just assumed that she had found out at one point and was mad at him for it. I did not remember that she finds out in the movie.
Yeah.
Crazy
That's
thing to hold from your daughter when you like she knows you are Ant-Man.
and that kind of made the end credit scene feel off. Like she just
Yeah.
finds out, and then they're like, "Well, let's try it
Your
again."
turn.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
now your turn.
But oh, another thing I will say about that end credit scene, I feel like we shouldn't have seen the suit. I don't know why. I feel like it kind of traps him into a corner for designing it for the second movie.
Yeah,
But I
that is
feel
true.
like it could have just been a reaction shot of them talking about it, and then it would have been like, "Oh, what's the suit gonna look like? You know what I mean? What's it gonna be?" But I see why they showed it.
Seems unfair as hell to not give Ant-Man wings. Like I know it's
Right?
like she's the Wasp and he's Ant-Man, but come on, man. Like he needs. She has wings
Right.
and he doesn't. Like he has to run everywhere.
Yellow Jacket's got these huge like prong things shooting laser beams,
The
and
Yellow
Scott's just
Jacket
throwing punches.
is one of my favorite designed MCU villains. I think he looks
100%.
awesome.
He's sick.
The
Yeah, it's
the
so
the extension, like the stingers that shoot the lasers, the yellow mask where you can still like see his face through it. The way he said, I just think everything about the Yellow Jacket is awesome.
It feels so
yeah, no,
early 2000s. It feels like that
It does.
Transformers era of like design and stuff. I feel like this whole
mhm.
movie kind of has that style of like a early 2000s comedy. Like a lot of the shrunken scenes, now that I think about it, it does remind me of have you guys ever seen Tooth Fairy with The Rock?
Yes.
Like when The Rock is Tooth Fairy, I just remembered that movie as we're talking right now. But like, when he's shrinking down and stuff, that's
Mhm.
actually what this movie reminds me of. I just now put that together.
One other thing that I forgot watching this movie is I kind of forgot how smart Scott Lang's supposed to be. I always
Right.
kind of remember him being just like this bumbling, stumbling around goofball who's like surrounded by smart people. But he talks to me. He has a career in I can't remember what his
It
degree's
was
in, but he
something
says like
engineering.
yeah, it's some molecular engineering, not molecular, but some extreme science. And he's tinkering on the belt. Like he knows his way around the suit. He knows technology, which I think is kind of lost after those first three scenes whatsoever. Like I feel like, and especially going on like Civil War and Infinity War, the other movies he's in, you really don't see him be actually smart at all
Yeah.
outside of those few lines at the beginning that he knows he has a degree in it. He tinkers with the belt and mentions something about it. And there's that scene where he's stealing the suit the first time, which I do like because it really does show all superhero movies need to have it. You need to show your character is resourceful without the suit. And
Yeah.
that's what Hank says. Like he broke past a locking mechanism and all that. That'd be extremely hard to break through, which I don't get. It was one fingerprint scan and then an old vault.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Some other things I wrote down, they're more of just like quick thoughts. Um, First time we really see the Avengers headquarters from like a grand scale. So I thought that was kind of cool. The Falcon
that was
cameo, I
so
think, worked out
good.
great. Uh, and it's something minor that I wrote down is their suits are kind of similar. Maybe not just in like design, but in the colors, they're very similar. And
Yeah.
Brody, like you said, it's a little bit reminiscent of Deadpool too. They really like those maroon colors. They're a little bit deeper reds.
Mhm.
So I thought that was cool.
I just
Uh,
loved the when Hank's watching and then he checks his old papers and it still says Stark on him. Like he
mhm,
was checking like old files and that's why he thought it was
mhm.
and I thought it was just a great little like I don't know, it's just insane from a writing perspective how some of the stuff lines up. Like, oh yeah, that could be an
Is
old
that
Stark place.
Is that our first like more traditional MCU cameo? Falcon and
I would say so.
in
Yeah.
terms of established characters showing up. Because if
Mhm.
it,
It
nowadays,
was
obviously
such
it's
a good
every other
pick.
movie. But yeah, it's a great pick. A recently introduced character who everyone likes and you really haven't seen anything of since Civil or Winter Soldier.
And the technology that he can get in the suit and mess
Mhm.
with, and then he's got the visor so he can scan for Ant-Man. It was just a perfect. That was definitely my favorite scene in the movie. But I also
And then the
loved
setup at the end Falcon is the
exactly.
reason he shows up for Civil War. Like, that's the reason he gets there.
And
I
he
might
said
leave that
in
out.
that first fight thing, he says like,
Bro, it came out 10 years ago.
We've got Civil War coming up. If somebody's
I
watching this,
know,
they
that's
want to
true,
know.
that's true, that's true, that's true.
but yeah, I don't know. I thought the whole fight scene was great, especially like, and it was longer than I remembered too. I remembered
Yeah.
it just being a fight on the
Mhm.
rooftop. I don't remember it going into that whole shelter. And I forgot that Falcon just had Uzis. He just had machine gun
Yeah, he
pistols.
just has
So
Mac
like I was
10s on
totally
him.
caught off guard because like he's like talking with him and then he's like, and I was like, what? I was like,
Right.
what? It's like he's a
Like,
superhero, man.
he's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill that guy.
Right? I was just surprised that he just like I just wasn't expecting the pistols, just full auto, just to be just boom boom. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, any other thoughts? If you guys don't have a ton of thoughts, I've got another cool thing to talk about where we are in the MCU. Brody and I did a little bit of a Q&A last time about themes. This is completely different, but if you guys got
I
more,
do have one thought, and it sucks because I don't. It sucks. Not. I have one thought, and if it comes to the Stan Lee cameo in this movie, it is so obviously so shoot in at the end. Like by the end of production, they didn't really know what to do or not. It's almost like they forgot until they had made half the movie. And they're like, oh no, how do we throw in the Stan Lee cameo? Because he shows up in the last two scenes of the movie, and it works because it catches you off guard. Because the whole time you're like, oh my god, I haven't seen Stan Lee yet. Right as he pops up, you completely forget about him. But I do feel like there are so many other opportunities for it to feel less shoot in. Watching it on a rewatch, that scene where he falls out of his car and he lands on the older taxi driver's car and he looks up, and then like he gets bigger and then the dent gets larger. 100% should have been Stan Lee. Makes so much more, not in that sense, but so much more screen time, so much more traditional Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah. I could
absolutely.
have seen that. The other thing, are we gonna talk about the other end credit scene?
I was about to say, it's so funny the difference in tone between the entire movie to that last end credit scene.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, by the way, Avengers is still going on.
Don't
Like,
forget, there's still stuff going on.
But I thought it was just great that they already had Falcon in the movie. It didn't feel tagged on. It felt like, oh, not only did they have a great reason for the cameo in the movie and the fight scene, but it felt like the end credit scene lined up way better. It wasn't just thrown at you for no reason.
Are we supposed to believe then that Ant-Man is going on at the exact same time as Civil War? Because that end credit scene takes place during Civil War, so I'm kind of just confused on the timeline the movie's setting up.
It should be
Yeah,
before,
I'm not.
right?
It should be before.
If I'm
I-
keeping track of things right.
Oh,
No,
and then at the end, that's why he's asking around for Ant-Man, is because he's looking for him.
no, you know what? That scene is directly from Civil War.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like one for one for Civil War.
What scene?
No, I think I think they were filming it at
Where
the
he-
same time, or
Where
that
his
was one of
arm,
the first
where
scenes.
his arm's trapped in the car jack or the car pressure thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because
I
the
don't
thing
know
he's
if
referring to is this the I won't spoil it, but the event that causes the Civil War is what they're trying to question Bucky about.
well,
Like-
he mentions a piece of political documents that we had not been introduced yet, so I think that's directly pulled from the movie.
yeah.
I don't think they
I know
really
the
knew what they
settings
were
in the
doing
movie.
when they put it in there. Like, I think they just put it in there to tease the new movie. I don't think they really had an idea of when it was supposed to take place, Kind of like how, what is it? The end credit scene for Far From Home was just the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get. Not Far
Oh,
From
No
Home.
Way Home.
No Way Home. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I get with this. Is just like it's just shoved in there to really promote the next thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I know that setting. I don't know if it's the exact lines and stuff, though. I just know that setting is later on.
I also don't know if it's the exact lines. I kind of don't think it is.
I don't think it is. Because I think there's just... I remember it being a different conversation later on.
I don't remember Bucky ever having his arm trapped in Civil War like that. Like, I don't remember that happening. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see. Oh, I love that movie.
I do want to show one thing because I think it's cool for foreshadowing because we don't really talk about it otherwise.
Is it Future Foundation Spider-Man with water on his chest again?
Oh, can we please see that again?
Oh, here we go.
Let's start talking about Fantastic Four.
I'm going to
again.
show the foreshadowing, but you guys can't talk about it because it's too much.
Okay.
It's
So
a,
just look at it?
a weird shot. That's all I'm saying. It's a weird shot.
Yeah, that did never happen. So that's not foreshadowing anything because we've erased that from our minds. So
No, it did happen. It did happen.
Wait.
All right, guys.
Wait.
my favorite thing about Ant-Man is that they only made 2 movies. It's my favorite part.
I'm not going to say anything. But is that dude?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I've never seen that movie, so.
What, Ethan?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh! You
Well, no,
spoiled
I've
it.
seen it. I just didn't know because, obviously.
You didn't say what movie.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, guys.
Okay,
Here we go.
movie.
I'm gonna set the premise for you guys.
Okay.
For each question, you guys are gonna have 1 minute to discuss it amongst yourselves about who's gonna win. There's 5 questions I have with the bonus one at the end. But as soon as a minute's up, you guys cut off. We're moving on. Okay? You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's the WWE of the MCU SmackDown. We're going to pick 2 characters that we have not seen on screen together at the same time, having a fight one-on-one. Who would win? First up, we're going to start inspired by Ant-Man. We're going to go Scott Lang's Ant-Man versus Clint Barton's Hawkeye. Go.
Ant-Man.
I gotta say, man, yeah.
I saw even like a question. Ant-Man. What is Hawkeye gonna do? He's
gonna
just,
run on the arrow, and then he's just gonna
Yeah.
go and punch him.
He's a dude trying to shoot an ant. And yeah, if he hits him, he's gonna decimate him if he can land an arrow in there.
Right. He
But
has tiny
I don't
arrows. He has tiny arrows and a tiny bow and arrow. And he's like,
I want to
shooting
like
it
wrist
that.
that mini crossbow.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, that was pretty brief. Let's do the next one. The next one.
All right.
We are going to go to arguably the deadliest woman in the galaxy versus the Red Room's finest. Gamora versus Natasha Romanoff's Black Widow.
Natasha.
What? No.
It's
Natasha has
She's a
electronic stuff. Gamora's got some robot parts. The way I'm seeing that,
Gamora's
she's getting electrocuted and it's over.
True. That's true. Yeah, but I don't know. Gamora, isn't she like she's space alien?
Yeah, I would agree. I just think
I think they go band for band. I think it's like
Right.
one of them gets one shot in at the end. Like I think it's a pretty close fight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one, Wyatt, you're gonna feel a little confused.
Oh, he's staring over freaking someone.
Steve Rogers, Captain America versus Matt Murdock's Daredevil.
You can't do that. That's me versus Wyatt right here. That's
It's
our favorite
obviously
characters.
it's obviously Matt Murdock's Daredevil. I mean, come on. Steve doesn't have what it takes to take on the devil of Hell's Kitchen, right?
Does Matt
Like
Murdock
Steve's-
have super strength?
No, but Steve's gonna beat him up and be like, "All right, we're done here." And then he's not. Matt Murdock's gonna get up and just fucking keep going at him. Throw a microwave at his head or something.
I feel like Cap's just gonna stand there. He's gonna be like, "What are we doing?
We
You're
both-
better than this."
We both know Captain America does not have what it takes to beat up a blind man. He's not even gonna throw a
I
punch.
think he would just
He's
stop
not
his
even gonna
punches.
throw a
He would
punch.
just be like, "Just stop
All
what
right,
you're doing."
I'll agree with Wyatt on this. I think if Steve Rogers came up on Matt Murdock at first, he's probably gonna lose because he's blind. He's not gonna beat me
If
up.
they're in the streets
If-
and that's doing that thing he does where he fake walks blind with his fake stick.
But if it's 10 out of 10 fights, I think Steve Rogers probably wins 6 of them.
Wait, does he
Steve's
have a
winning, dude.
shield?
Yes,
He doesn't even. He's superhuman,
but
dude.
Matt Murdock's got his batons too. I'll give him the batons too.
Matt
Oh, cool.
Murdock's
So
a
he can hit the
dude.
super soldier with his sticks.
He's just a dude.
He's a dude with the devil in him. Oh, I love him.
I
But no, he
bet
would
Steve's
probably
winning, bro.
he would probably get stomped in. There's not many people that could beat Captain America.
Mixed feelings on that one. We're moving on. Flora Colossus versus the God of Thunder. Groot versus Thor.
Thor.
Yeah, what?
At this point in the MCU, I think Thor beats anyone we've seen.
Do you think Thor's the?
I honestly think
powerful
Thor
person
pretty much
people-
beats anyone in the MCU for the longest time. I think Thor is always the most powerful MCU character we've had.
Well, we're gonna have to. Talk
I
about
don't
that.
think we're at that point yet, personally. I feel like we're just a little ways away from that.
Like him being the most powerful right now?
Yeah, Thor's not his most powerful right now.
Who's more powerful than Thor right now, from what we've seen? Hero-wise, hero-wise.
Right now, I feel like this is like the canonical answer. It's not what I would personally prefer to say, but I feel like Captain Marvel right now, and then as we get later on into
I forgot. I
Thor,
forgot we
then I
watched
feel
that
like
first.
it's closer.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to
Yeah, it's
leave
been a
that out of the
minute since we talked about
conversation.
her.
I don't know. That would be a good fight.
But just because, I mean, I can't say it because like, it's later on. But
All right, guys. Our last fight. One would say the main event.
all right,
Phil Coulson versus Luis.
Phil
Dude,
Coulson.
Dude, Phil, dude.
Phil Coulson's putting 2 in Luis's chest, man.
But
That dude is a shield agent. Like, that guy is...
Luis
Rest in
would
peace.
tell the story really well. I will say
he would-
that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, what if he distracts him with the crazy story?
Dude,
The way Loki distracted him,
That'd
it worked for Loki.
I would love a one-shot of Coulson trying to interrogate and, like, interview him, and he just
That'd
can't
be
get
good.
to, like, the bottom of, like, what's going on because Luis is just telling random stories, and Coulson's just sitting there trying to get him to say the right thing. That'd be a great one-shot.
This is unrelated. I won't talk too much about it because it's Ant-Man 2. But there's almost a near Phil Coulson replacement who shows up in Ant-Man 2, and he is pretty good. Like, he's pretty good in Ant-Man 2.
All right, well, when we have UFC MCU 2, I'll bring that up. But guys, this was a lovely conversation on Ant-Man. I thought the questions I was asking was some fun. I think it's great that we have some, unique talking points about where we are in the MCU, just because we still got a ways to go. But like Wyatt said, we're getting close, guys, to the next Avengers movie. I would say Avengers 2.5 is coming in about 2 weeks.
We're
Captain
getting-
America Civil War.
This is
Dude,
about...
we just got to get through Iron Fist, and then and then we get some anger
And
movies.
then this is like the era where I think like soon after this I think was Marvel's highest point.
Yeah,
We're
the
in
beginning
the
of
golden period right now.
Yeah, I think
But-
this next lineup of movies and stuff.
100%.
But that's a great reminder. Iron Fist is next week. I'm sure that conversation is going to be glorious.
Right.
I don't have any expectations for it. I've never seen it before.
Don't.
so-
But
It's cool, from what I remember. I was 12. Who knows?
to the people in the audience, I know you haven't seen Iron Fist. I know you haven't. So watch the video that we do so you can find out what happens in that show. Because I know for a fact you have not seen Iron Fist.
We are doing it so you don't have to.
Exactly. That's
We
the
are-
slogan.
We are your servants. So make sure to go subscribe. Go watch the video. If you've made it this far, go watch the Iron Fist video. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Sacred Rewatch. We hope you enjoyed diving back into the timeline with us timeline with us every week. New recap episodes are coming out every week leading up to Avengers Doomsday. And also be sure to check out next week's episode, or maybe the week after. I have a big reveal for our next giveaway, guys. So wherever you are in the multiverse, thanks for making the Sacred Rewatch part of your journey. See you guys.